Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Split Labs channel. Today is Friday, March 27th, 2026. And as always, before we get started, I've got to let you guys know this video is completely powered by Split Labs because we built the exact tool that we wanted to use as sports bettors. We're going to show you public betting splits, line movement, and market signals across all major sports in one place, along with a handful of brand new tools that we have over here at Split Labs to help us cash the best MLB bets that we can possibly identify on the board today. If you want to see what the crowd is doing, where the line is going, and what the market is hinting at every single day, that's literally what we do. Hit the like, subscribe, enjoy the time here. Use the link in the description, splitlabs.net. Promo code YouTube gets you 50% off your first month to get access to everything that you're going to see on this board today, guys. All right, I've been in a groove. We're good. Let's go into the weekend strong here. Again, I'm posting this video probably really early by the time this releases. So we're looking at some really early numbers when it comes to the splits. But the data really doesn't change too much when it comes to like player props, things like that. But that's gonna be the agenda of the video. We're gonna talk with some of our best bets when it comes to spread, money line, totals. We'll jump into some weather impacts and stuff like that. Kind of look at the new feature where we can look at the ballpark and see how weather is impacting the game. And then last but not least, if you're only here for player props, that'll be in the second half of the video. But we're going to end it with some player props on the board of things that I like today. Starting out with the first game, the early game, we got Yankees at the Giants. As we know, that first game, Yankees demolished, and let me get a closer look for you guys so you guys can see these numbers here with me. The public loves New York, Los Angeles. It's never going to change. And as I always say, when you see all these numbers, don't get scared and don't get concerned. There were a whole bunch of posts all over social media in the last game in opening night where it's like, oh my gosh, all these people are on the Yankees. Everybody's on the Yankees every single day. Sometimes you got to ride it, sometimes you can't. Let's dive into the numbers, what we got here. It's going to be no surprise. We're going to see the Yankees pulling in all of the money, especially the way they obliterated the Giants. However, don't forget, the Yankees do have their moments as well. Let's see what's in their favor today. All right, starting out with the spread, we've got 54% of bets, 61% of money on New York Yankees minus 1.5. It was plus 138, now sitting at a plus 134, so it is going down, which trends really well towards anybody that's currently taking the Yankees. The line is currently at a minus 124. Minus 124 with 88% of bets, 95% of money. Again, it is early while I'm recording this video right now, so if you want the most up-to-date splits, promo code YouTube, splitlabs.net, link is in the description. See what the lines are and what the percentage of bets and money are closer to, game time. However, I doubt it's going to change too much. It's the freaking Yankees. This is what we get every single time, pretty much. 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, they're taking on this money. What is concerning, though, is when they're minus 124. This is pretty much out of pick'em, right? I'm not even going to go through to the total yet because my read here is the Giants win this game. Everybody's going to take the Yankees because of how terrible the Giants looked in their last matchup opening night. Everybody's going to jump in on the Yankees train. However, I think you missed the bus this time. I think the Giants pull out the upset. So let me just look at what the odds are for a Giants cover. Giants cover is currently sitting at a minus 162. I'm going to take that. I'm also going to take them to upset, currently at a plus 106. Again, getting a smaller, better number. It opened at a plus 104. We're getting a plus 106. I'm not complaining about that. Give me the underdog here. As I said in the beginning, you're always going to see this amount of bets on the Yankees. However, what you're not always going to see is that you can get them for a minus 122. So I'm going to go with the Giants here and give me that as the upset of the day. As far as the total, we've got 72% of bets, 60% of money. It opened at 8, so I'm a little concerned because it's currently getting 72% of bets, 60% of money, and it's going down, which tells me, one, the books aren't respecting the money early on and the bets. 2, maybe there's some possible weather implications. So let's kind of look at this and see what we've got here. Split Labs is currently showing live conditions. But as we know, just looking at the park factors of this, it's a pitcher park. It's a strong pitcher park. Right now, right while I'm recording, it's 2 a.m. So definitely a lot colder. Temperature is currently like 66 degrees, it says, 50% humidity, winds blowing out, things like that. We're not going to read too much into this. However, what we will do is we'll look at the hit profile and kind of see maybe some people that we can spot out. As we know, in opening night, one of the biggest indicators on how we read that we were taking Yankees money line is the fact that the field was favoring the right side, right? So we were looking at a lot of lefties, and not to make any excuse for Aaron Judge, he had 3 strikeouts, 5 I don't know. I think it was 3 strikeouts. It just wasn't a day for him, right? If this holds true, right? Let's say we get the pitcher park that we know Oracle Park to be. I lean in favor of the Giants. Like, the Giants aren't necessarily a powerhouse. I've never looked at them this way. I think they're like a grinded out slugfest kind of team. I've never depended them to score runs ever. I think I took the over in the opening night bet, maybe, possibly. When I took that, I was fully expecting Yankees to be the ones pouring that on, right? Pouring it on, as the guy says. If I have this being a lower scoring game, I'm not taking total in this. I'll start with that. If I have it being a lower scoring game, I think it works in my favor of taking the Giants here and things like that. Let's look at some of, I know I said I was going to do player props in the end. Let me hold true just in case anybody actually skipped to the end and decided to look for some player props. All right, so my bets in this game, we're going to have the Giants covering and the Giants upsetting in this game. Moving on, smaller slate. So what games do I want to do next? I love a good bounce back spot, especially when it comes to the MLB. Angels won yesterday, which I'm assuming blew a lot of people's mind given the Astros. However, if memory serving me correctly, the Astros were a little tough last season. They were a little hard to bet on, and yeah, I don't necessarily know if it's rolling over, but I think everybody has this, kind of expectation that the Astros are, still that team that we saw a couple years ago. And to be honest, they're not. They've definitely downgraded a little bit, and the Angels pretty much kind of took the game. It was close. It was a pitcher's duel, I'd say. It was 3-0 yesterday. Now they're coming back in. I think this is a bounce back spot, honestly, for the Astros. But let's go into the early money and bets. On the Angels, we've got 90% of bets, 79% of money. I'm fully expecting these numbers to come down completely by the time, the day starts. Again, recording this really early. It's currently almost 2 o'clock in the morning. So check splitlabs.net for the current, landscape of the bets and the money here. However, as we can see early, the public is jumping on heavily, and the money, but mostly the public is jumping on heavy on the Angels covering. They probably saw the Astros lose last night. They're like, okay, well, if they're not going to put up runs and it was so excruciating that you didn't score a single run last night, yeah, let me take the Angels to not win, but at least cover at a minimum. So that makes sense to me. However, one thing that we should note, it was a minus 162. Now it's a minus 154. It's getting better for the Angels, and you have all of this money. Give me the Astros. I do like them. I can take them straight up here. It's a minus 168. It's fine. The money line is not changing. 82% of bets, 72% of money. I'm not too concerned about that because I think we're going to get it back. I think they're going to cover the spread as well. I'm not going to take that. However, I do have a strong lean to them covering the spread as well. And as far as the total, there's no movement yet. Again, MLB is completely different from, from any other sport like NBA, NHL, things like that. So there's no strong movement when it comes to the lines or the total at this moment. 59% of bets, 77% of money coming in on the over 8.5. It's really early, so this could flip at any point. However, the books are not giving any indication that this is going to change. Give me the Astros on this game. And yeah, if we want to look at the kind of, conditions right now, again, it's really late and we're currently showing live conditions over at Split Labs, but it's a neutral park. The projections at this moment is close. It's 8.4, but again, this is live data right now showing on the park. So we're not going to read too much into this. I do want to just quickly look at the hit profile just to kind of spot maybe some edges that we can see. I don't think I looked at them yet. We've got, and we can, take this into consideration tomorrow if obviously we're hoping that you use Split Labs for this. But if you're looking at any weather, we've got the Astros. They're more leaning towards being left-sided when it comes to hitting. So, look at some righties, things like that. When it comes to the Angels, they're both pretty spot on. Are the Angels significantly better? Sorry, guys. Oh, Angels are significantly better at the left side of the field. Or at least not better, but they definitely have additional contact. Something to note, if we see a lot of just suppression in this left side, both of these teams are really going to be impacted. So it's definitely something worth noting. And then if I just look at every hitter, right, that kind of puts it into perspective. This left field, if this is taken out, especially at a pitcher's park, tough, completely tough. So moving on, we're going to take the Astros here and we're going to move forward to last game of the day. This is another one that I don't necessarily, let's do the Rockies, honestly. I know it's such an ugly game, and like this is the one that really puts it into perspective when you're a sports bettor. I used Sandy Alcantara in our thumbnail. I told the guys, I was like, hey, let's see what Sandy's doing. Sandy's had a fantastic bounce back. And the Rockies are terrible. So I feel like, I'm not saying this is an easy read, but do I think the Rockies are going to win this game? No. 84% of bets, 90% of money on Marlins minus 1.5. Rockies, something worth noting, right? Covering the spread, minus 150. It's currently sitting at a minus 137. So the books are respecting the Rockies a little bit. It's still early. I'm not going to read into it. Marlins are getting steamrolled when it comes to, these numbers right now. Same thing on the money line. It's a minus 196. So I feel like they're priced respectfully. 89% of bets, 88% of money. You're almost at a minus 200. By the time you guys wake up and see this video, I'm positive they're going to be in the 200 range, which means they're priced accordingly. Again, I'm not going to read into this at all, because the Marlins should win. And I think they will. I think they're priced as if they're going to win this game, and they should be. This is something I would throw in a parlay and feel okay about. If the Rockies are a team that I lose my bet on, personally, I'm just like, well, good job, pat on the back. That's on me. That's on me. Whatever. You beat me. You beat me. You beat the system. No one's counting on the Rockies to win. 73% of bets, 59% of money on the under 7.5. One of the concerns here, right, when you have Sandy Alcantara on the mound, and I know he had a rocky, start previously. However, he's kind of gotten back into that form of just being the Sandy that we know and love. So I'm going to lean into that. The fact that the total has adjusted so heavily already from open, 8.5 to now 7.5, tells me this game goes under. In this one, play the nerfy. I'm going to raise this one up to right, the books adjust for a reason. So I'm not feeling any remorse about raising these lines and telling you guys to do it. I think we need to use those to our advantage when it comes to MLB. Play the nerfy here. Let me see what the odds are on that really quickly. 710. Do we have the nerfies up? Tell me we do. Under is minus 142. Let's play the nerfy on this one. Under 1 run, 0.5, whatever, minus 142, and give me the under 8 on this game. I'm going to avoid, I think the Marlins win. If you want to toss it into a parlay, sure. gonna avoid it just because I never feel comfortable giving you guys anything trending towards or anything in the 200 range. I think like minus 185 is probably like my cutoff that I feel confident giving on this channel and like not feeling bad about it. So those are going to be my reads on this game. Nerfy, under 8, and we're going to call it there. Now, let's jump into some player props, shall we? I think I'm doing pretty well on time here. We're at 15 minutes, so let's jump into some player props and knock this out really quickly. We'll start with the Marlins, just because we're on this game right now. And let's look at Sandy. What do we have? 5.5 strikeouts. Rockies were striking out a whole bunch last season. They're just not a good team. Split Labs has this rated as a favorable matchup. Let me move the screen out for you guys here so you guys can see the full thing. Again, if you want access to our player prop tools on Split Labs, head over to the site. Promo code YouTube gets you 50% off of everything that you see on this video. This is a favorable matchup for Sandy, so I'm expecting him to have a pretty long outing here. And talking about long outings, Paul Skeens, what was that? I'm expecting him to go, pretty far in this one. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positive, matchups for him. He should be in good spirits. His pitch count should be down. Some people that we might have to worry about, Ezekiel, Jake McCarthy, things like that. But like, favorable. So like, why wouldn't we? When it comes to last season, 60% hit rate in his last form. Let me check all really quickly. Let's do all. Just in general. This is considering like 2023 as well. Let's do last season. 32% hit rate entirely on last season. Let's see when it comes to the opponent. 50-50. Very different circumstances. We have a 4 and we have an 8, so I don't really love that. When it comes to all, not really working in our favor. Hasn't played the Rockies too much since 2023, so we're looking at a 33% hit rate. Probably something I avoid. Let's check home. Last time he played them at home, he got 4. I'm gonna avoid it. I'm going to avoid it just because the numbers aren't here. And, as much as I know the Rockies strike out a bunch and Sandy Alcantara could be good, the numbers just aren't speaking to me right now. I think instead what I'm going to do here is go outs recorded, and they're expecting him to go pretty long. And I think that works in our favor. Let's look at first opponent. Look at that. Look at that beauty. So it looks like he's not striking out people too often. However, he is going for long outings, and I don't think that's unfair to say, given 1, we know it's the Rockies, 2, it's a very favorable matchup, and they're not really, putting too much contact to him. Their lineup is averaging 212 against him, and how much, greens across the board. Let's look at home. He's only played them once at home since 2023, and he went 18 outings. So this is a minus 170. This is tough just because like 18. So usually 18. So like we're literally on the edge here, right? You have a bad game, a bad outing, our bet probably blows up, but I'm willing to take my chances. It's the Rockies. He should have the support, to let him go. Let's look at hits allowed as well really quickly. Just curious. All right, looks like hits allowed currently is not posted on the lines yet for the sportsbooks, but if you are looking at them, it looks like averaging about 4.5. So check out what that line is when it gets posted, and we'll see what happens. All right. Given I have this being a low scoring game, I'm not going to look at any hits in this game, just because I'm not expecting too much. I'm playing a nerfy, like I'm not rooting against myself there. All right, jumping over to the Yankees game, I really want to look at some data from this game just because the Giants had and especially because I'm, considering them upsetting here, the Giants had a pretty tough opening night. So did Aaron Judge. I want to look at some pitcher props for Robbie Ray. Let's see. Robbie Ray's a starter. Let's see. Versus opponent. April 11th, he had 7. Good to note. We're looking at a pretty favorable matchup here. He's got Judge isn't striking out. He's definitely, getting a lot of walks. Seems like he's avoiding him. So, definitely something to caution. Bellinger, we're looking at some pretty good strikeout scenarios possibly. The only person that is performing well against him so far is Austin Wells. That's not saying much. He hasn't faced this lineup too much, so they're pretty unfamiliar with him, at least since 2023, so it's been a while. Definitely something worth noting there. And let's see him at home. We've got no data for him at home right now. Okay. Strikeouts. We've got over 5.5 being minus 154. The Yankees were doing so well in their opening night. They were putting the ball in play. However, I fully anticipate the Yankees to regress a little bit, clearly, as we know, just because I bet against them. I think that also comes with some strikeouts here. This is really favorable for him. I know I'm probably reading way too much into this one game of sample size since 2023 versus his opponent, but, it does seem like a lower scoring game, the Giants being a pitcher duel, and them having the start that they expected to have opening night. I'm going to lean into that. Give me Robbie Ray over 5.5 on the strikeouts. All right, looking at Aaron Judge, and I'm just going to do this blindly really quickly. He had a really tough performance last game. And again, we're currently showing last season on Aaron Judge right now. And versus his opponent, not fantastic when he's away. What do we have? There's nothing for when he's away. That was just last season. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So when we go since 2023, we're now at a 67% hit rate about. And then 2023, 67, 100% hit rate in 2024. So it's definitely good to note. I don't necessarily... I have this one as a low scoring game. I do think Aaron Judge, and the books are obviously conflicted as well, I do think he has a bounce back game. The data just currently isn't aligning for me to put my ducks into this. I'd love to just say, yeah, take Aaron Judge over 1.5 hits, but unfortunately the data just isn't aligning for me to tell you guys to take that bet. This is going to be an avoid for me, and we're going to go from there. All right, let's look at one more game and see what player props we can identify. All right, let's take a look at one final game here. I'm thinking the Tigers versus the Padres. Let's take a look at the run environment, honestly. It looks like left field very minorly is getting suppressed. There's a little boost at right field here. I think I'm going to help just turn on the spray chart really quickly at Split Labs and see. Everybody combined is more, giving contact to the right side. And the Tigers kind of went all out yesterday. So let's take a look and see who we've got to our advantage. Gleyber Torres, definitely something worth noting. He's got a pretty solid contact profile when it comes to right field. Same thing with Manny Machado, but again, these are pretty minor. Let's see who's got the best. Jake Cronenworth. Looks like Jake Cronenworth, at least on the Padres, is definitely somebody to look into for maybe RBIs, maybe possibly a hit, but it looks like he's somebody on the Padres that has the best hitting profile when it comes to this game. So let's take a look at him and see if the books have his lineup. Let's see what we've got. All right, 2.5. Isn't that something? All right, didn't have a great day yesterday. I understand, Jake. We're looking at a 2.5 hits line. So I think the books are pricing you pretty aggressively for somebody that has not hit this. That's number one. Has not hit this at all. And let's look in general. Where's your opponent? Okay. Less 10, less 20. This is a really crazy line. Jake, we're not looking there. I'm not too sure where the books have you at this 2.5 hit rate. You're probably gonna have a fantastic day. Let me look at your RBIs and see if the books have their lineup. Nothing on this as well, guys. Sorry, guys. It looks like there's no data, at least on the hitters for the Padres. He is somebody that I definitely think you guys should be taking a look at. Let's take a look at the pitchers and see what we've got. So far, only Michael King is listed. We've got a very small sample size. However, from what we can see, anybody's really good against Javi. The way he swings his bat it's amazing. Truly a work of art. Looking at Michael King here, we have 5.5 strikeouts. The books are leaning in his favor, saying that we should expect him to strike out, his opponents. Looks like last season we don't have any data. Hasn't faced them since 2023, and when he did, it was five strikeouts. For the people that that we have a sample size against, yeah, there's a few people that haven't seen him and maybe aren't familiar. And they're striking out, a bit, but most of these people are it's not like they're contact outs. So with that, I kind of want to bet this under, just from what I'm seeing here. He didn't reach it in 2023. He hasn't faced them in a really long time. Tell me why I want to bet his over -140. It's not working in the favor right now. I'm not saying that, the Tigers are going to win this game outright. I just don't. He might go a while. I think he might have, the over and outs possibly. Not something that I'm personally taking. But I am going to do this under +106 on his strikeouts. Give me the under 5.5 on Michael King. Just because, yes, the lineup isn't familiar with him, but just looking at this data, it's green for him, but half of the squad, they are getting contact outs. So with that being said, I'm just expecting it to be maybe like fly balls, things like that. And, we get him out maybe in the 5th. So with that being said, guys, I am going to call it. If this video helped you at all, please feel free to like, subscribe, and leave a comment if there's anything that I landed on that you are tailing or fading. As always, regardless, I love seeing any interactions in the chat. And then if you want access to everything that you saw here on the board today, head over to the link in the description. Splitlabs.net, 50% off gets you 50%, or code YouTube gets you 50% off your first month. Sorry, guys. 2 o'clock in the morning recording these videos. My brain is all over the place, but code YouTube gets you 50% off your first month. Splitlabs.net, link is in the description. And with that being said, guys, I will catch you guys on the next one. This is our last video for the week. As you guys know, we have a posting schedule for Monday through Friday, so I will catch you guys next week, and best of luck with your bets.